This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Duane and Robert White reflect back on the record year for renewable fuels.
Duane Toews joining us again on Ag AM in Kansas, and an opportunity to catch up with Robert White with the Renewable Fuels Association. Robert, we think about the industry. We've saw some great gains coming through the summer in terms of use by and acceptance by the consumer.
Yeah, it's been a great year, a record year. I mean, we have more E15 and more E85 new stations introduced into the marketplace all over the country. We're seeing so many people see those fuels for the first time. And the great thing, it's at the best value proposition it's ever been. We were just talking earlier about the 17 years of data and pricing information we have at E85prices.com. This is the strongest time frame we've ever experienced in those 17 years. And right now, if you have one of those retailers that's willing to pass along some savings, E85 is the cheapest fuel per mile to drive.
What's interesting, personally, I had the opportunity to get some E15 earlier this summer, and I looked up at the marquee at what the price differential was. And Robert, I know there were a lot of people that disputed what kind of value it was to the corn industry, particularly when we started talking about ethanol, and they didn't believe those numbers. Well, you can believe it when you look at it in black and white on the marquee at the gas station.
Well, you get it two different directions. I mean, you're looking at some of the price predictions for the corn market. Both the ethanol market is also low, historically low as well. We are supporting each other, and the value proposition that the consumers are now seeing will translate into the future. So I think what the farmers, if there are some still that haven't understood the value of ethanol consuming about 40% of the corn crop, I can't imagine the times we'd be in without it.
Interesting times that we are, in fact, exporting some ethanol. That creates some angst on some people's part as well.
Well, it looks like a record year. 1.3 billion gallons is a prediction. Probably the third biggest year on record for distillers' grains exports. And we'd love to blend more of it here or feed more distillers here. But right now, the competition is fighting us tooth and nail, as they always have and always will. And so we're opening those export markets to make sure we can grind more corn. We're making sure the distillers' grains has a new home. Vietnam just opened back up as an example, third largest market for distillers we've ever had. And so without those export markets, the corn demand would be even less than it is today.
We think about the situation of profitability for corn growers, marginal at best right now. If we didn't have those additional options to utilize that product, what pile of corn we might be sitting under today?
Well, and these ethanol plants are not what they were even a decade ago. They've diversified. Ethanol might be a co-product instead of the main product now. They're making corn oil. They're making extracting the fiber. They're making renewable diesel, biodiesel, and now even cellulosic ethanol out of the corn fiber from the original ethanol, the original corn kernel. Without these expansions, without these diversifications, the numbers would be much lower than they are today. We need everyone's support, not only for the domestic side of things, whether that's demand at the pump or support in Washington, because we have more capacity we can turn on. We just need a market to do it.
Our thanks to Robert White, Renewable Fuels Association, joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery, and so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously. So I'm tickled to death with the results, and I'd recommend this process to anyone.